Hello, this is the Gors Kallmann 5 foot 5 inches long, that's 135 centimetres, one of the shortest grand pianos we've ever had. I'm really astounded by it actually, and I don't want to say too many superlatives, so I'll just try and show you what the special features on it are. First of all, it's beautifully polished. We'll look at that first, I suppose, and as you can't come in at the moment with the lockdown, so you need to know the piano really does look good, and it's obviously been repolished and hasn't faded at all. So going right the way around, this is the back end of the piano, and we can see that it's integral. Very good mahogany. The top is slightly scratched. I'll try and show the scratches up. We haven't worked on it at all yet. It's just arrived in literally so today. So there's a scratch there. I think our polish will disguise that. That's probably the worst feature on the whole piano. Let's have a look. It's under there, you see it's integral colour wise. So it's been kept closed, I think, because this colour is darker. So yeah, that's the only thing that we can say that is negative about the piano. There's just a slight difference in colours and scratching, which we will make good. And the top lid there again, it's beautifully polished, a very good finish as well. There's the name Gors Kallmann. We haven't polished this up yet, and the keys are perfect ivories, which is always encouraging, and very slightly yellowed. I don't know if you can pick that up on the video, but they're slightly yellow, but nothing to worry about really, and they're quite well polished. They don't need buffing. Now, for such a small piano, I was surprised that the legroom is actually 62, which is slightly higher than the average grand, and the pedals are 6 centimetres from the floor and slightly sloping down. So there's just so many good things to say about this piano. As I've mentioned many times before, that means you could put caster cups under it to raise the piano up if you wanted more legroom, but in fact there is quite a lot of legroom already. Looking inside the piano, it's in perfect condition really. The tuning pins, I've tested them for tightness. They're small, originals in other words, and very tight. And the piano is actually A440. It just come in and it's at concert pitch, so that's also extremely encouraging. Now I just want to show you something here which is a sign of a good quality small piano. That is, it has agraffs and not this capo bar kind of thing. It has agraffs along here, which is a good sign. But if you look at these strings, they go a long way up, these copper winding strings. So they've really thought about making a good piano here. We'll listen to it in a second. Just want to show you the rest of the inside, which is all perfect. We're obviously checking this. You'll see our assessment sheet checklist before I first. Don't want this video to be too long, partly because I've got other pianos to assess, but I want to not rush it at the same time. So we will listen to the tone, and I've got a Blüthner which has also just come in that I'm going to compare it with. Obviously the Blüthner is a longer piano, so it's going to sound richer, but this hasn't been tuned by us at all yet, so if we listen to the middle, and the hammers need refacing, so that it's a bit mellower than it should be. For the size of the piano, that's remarkable bass. Nice thick bass strings to give as round a sound as possible. This is a client's Blüthner just coming for reconditioning. I haven't assessed this piano yet, but let's have a listen. Now it's a bit longer strings, as you can see, so it's going to have a stronger sound. And this is a Blüthner Style 4, which is one of our pianos we really want to access as much as we can, but it does need lots of regulation, lots of work. The Gors Kallmann played at the same point. It's very beautiful sound. It's a serial number, very faint as you get on quite a lot of makes of gun, unfortunately good makes as well. 66636, dated at 1930. There's a few tuning dates on the keys here. As you can see, it's been tuned annually. I do like to see tuning dates. It just gives you a bit of history. I love to see the history of a piano. Now, the encouraging thing here is that for such a short piano, it has a normal roller action. Challenge grands, for instance, which is a very common English grand, they very often, I think always on this length, will put a simplex action in, but this is a normal roller action, so it allows tremendously good regulation. Looking at the action on the piano, there's no sideways play here, which is encouraging. The hammers are worn slightly and they need refacing. I've refaced one or two here, which just to see what sort of brightness we're going to get refacing, and it's fine. They are slightly mellow here and do need brightening a bit. That's why we reface, and obviously trying to get the less hammer hitting the string helps as well to get a better tone, especially for soft playing. You might notice here I've raised up two hammers in the middle. That's how far down they were, so not been regulated since it was made, and pianos do need regularly regulating if you want them to play very very sensitively, and this is just as sensitive as a new piano. If we compare, basically it gives us much more response if we put the hammer height where it should be, 47 roughly I've decided it should be, and that was about 50, the difference between the hammer and the string, 51, 53 I think it was actually, 47, so it's a huge difference. And if we look at these two, if I raise them up together, that's one that we've done, one that we haven't done, you'll see that also the one that we've done drops back to a much higher position, and the spring also works properly. If we drop it back, the spring pulls it up afterwards, whereas this one here doesn't. This one here doesn't. Goes down. I don't know if you can see that. So we've regulated notes 40 and 41, C and C sharp, and we'll copy that through the rest of the piano. It also needs lubricating. This, as we've said many times before, balance rail with talc, and then the rollers with talc, and in fact the hammers need lubricating. So that some of them they're not incredibly bad, but some of them do be a bit for tight hinges, so we need to put Protect lubricant there, piano lubricant. Not terribly bad, but the touch, as we'll see in a minute, certainly the centre is going to affect the touch a lot, and then the hammers and the rollers will help it to be smoother, and also help any squeaks there are. I don't think there are any, but new pianos have talc lubricant here. Just briefly showing the regulation points, the capstan right underneath the whole action, that's what raised the hammers up, and then once that's been done we can do the set-offs. You can't really do the set-offs until the hammer's high enough. They won't perform properly. And then the drop screw, this little screw at the top here, that needs doing last of all. So, and the springs, I didn't mention the springs. Let's have a look at the spring screws. So the spring screws are down underneath here, and we do about a half a turn on those to get them the right tension. Before we listen to the piano, here's the assessment sheet and showing the work that needs doing. The main work is lubrication and regulation and voicing. So regulation certainly will improve it enormously, and there's just the details of the piano. And I'll say there's so many good things to say about this piano. I haven't mentioned, if you're in the trade, sorry, I could have mentioned more things possibly, but it's just as good as you can get a small grand piano, really. You might notice down here that the touch needs regulating quite considerably. So 49 grams is very good for middle C, but then we've got 54 for the F sharp there, 58 for the C below, and 64 for this sharp. So once we've lubricated, we may need to do a bit of leveling off of the touch by putting weights in. We'll have to wait and see, sorry, but I don't think so. 52 is a bit high for there, as we've mentioned many times before. So let's have a quick listen to the piano now. So that's an extremely short Gors Kallmann grand piano, 4 foot 5 inches long, made in 1930, and I'm just very encouraged by the quality of the piano. Sorry if I'm shouting a bit, it's just that some of the videos when we get to the part at the end have been a bit quiet, so if this is too loud, many apologies. I'll try and get it right in future. But such an impressive tone. The touch, once it's regulated, will just be very smooth as well, as good as any new piano. And for the length of the piano, the bass is extraordinary. We haven't tuned this piano since it came in, but it's at concert pitch, just needs tuning, needs fine tuning. Octaves there are quite badly out of tune because, well, obviously we will be tuning it. Keys are a bit sticky, not been played for a very long time, I suspect. but such a high quality tone wherever you play the piano. Gors Kallmann, extremely respected make. Most of the ones in the UK are dating from about 1900 to 1915, I think. Certainly haven't seen one of this age, and I was so fortunate to get hold of it, really, so grateful. You can probably see it's a bit sticky. The tuning pins are very tight. That's really important, absolutely most important thing, really, and they are very tight. If you've got a piano, whether it's old or new, you must keep your heating not too high, say certainly not above 21, and your humidity between about 45 and 70 ideally, and mostly about 50 degrees, 50%, I beg your pardon, sorry about that. If you're interested in this piano, during the lockdown, we're offering the possibility of you trying it out for a month and then deciding afterwards if you'd like to buy the piano. Obviously for us it would be simpler and easier if you bought it straight out. I can really be 100% certain you're going to be loving this piano if you want a small piano. Thank you very much for listening. Please do write to us, info@robertspianos.com, if you'd like to talk about the piano and see what the possibilities are.